Okay, so Insta360 recently released their Go 3 camera, and it's been compared to a lot of different cameras, a GoPro, your iPhone, other action cameras. But the one that I saw that really kind of made the most sense to me was comparing it against DJI's Osmo Action 2. They have a lot in common, and I think it's a better comparison than just a standard action camera. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Hey everybody, this is Mike with LowDef Media, and today we are going to be talking about the Insta360 GO 3 and the DJI Osmo Action 2. Now, in the intro, I was using my Fujifilm X-A5, but I've kind of had a change of opinion there, and I said, you know what, if I'm going to talk about the DJI Osmo Action 2, I'm going to film with it to highlight one of its strengths compared to the Insta360 GO 3, and that's the ability to do this, a nice talking head video with external audio. This is a nice 4K 30 image, and so I think this is a great place to start when talking about the comparison between these two cameras. Now, I think it's only fair that I begin by saying that I am a big fan of Insta360 and their products. I purchased the Insta360 One 360 camera, which was the first one of its kind. I also bought the One X2, and I own the Insta360 GO 2, which has allowed me to gain some perspective when talking about this comparison. Now, the new GO 3 shares a lot of the same, I would say, form factor features of the GO 3. Now, this is the GO 2. All right, now if you've seen the videos, this is smaller. The magnets are a little different on the back, and it doesn't have the clips, and we're going to get into that. Doesn't have those, and I'm a big fan of that connection system. But there's the comparison. DJI Osmo Action 2 already has those same type of connections, and so it's a magnet with the two little clips. So what Insta360 has done, I don't want to say copied, but they've incorporated a very similar connection system because it just makes sense. Now, the big difference between these two cameras is the resolution and frame rates. The DJI Osmo Action 2 can shoot 4K 120 frames per second. Now, this camera, the GO 2, can only shoot 1440. Now, the new GO 3 can go 2.7K, but only up to, I don't even think it shoots 60 frames per second. I think it caps out at 60, but let's say it shoots 60. And I'll put that on the screen to verify. I'm doing this from memory, and I don't ever write out a script. So I think the 60 is probably is the highest frame rate you're going to get with the highest resolution on the GO 3. So you've got to bump down the resolution to 1080 in order to get those higher frame rates. Now that's fine, because most people are going to watch this on their cell phones or their tablets, and so 1080p is perfectly acceptable. But if you're looking for higher quality images, you're going to have to go with the DJI Osmo Action 2. Now, the one downside, okay, not going to say the one, but there is one glaring downside to the DJI Osmo Action 2 when compared to the GO 2 and the GO 3, and it's this. Now, there is one thing that the DJI Osmo Action doesn't have that the Insta360 GO 2 and GO 3 have, and that's the ability to lock your horizon. Well, let me take that back. I can lock the horizon on this, but I can't shoot in a format that allows me to turn the camera and capture either 9/16 or 16:9 footage. So I have to predetermine which way I want my footage to, the aspect ratio, which way I want that to record, which is a real, I don't want to say inconvenience, but it is a drawback. And that's one of the things that I really do appreciate about the Insta360 GO 2 and GO 3. Now that horizon lock is a huge benefit to the Go 2 and the Go 3. I really enjoy being able to clip that on my pendant and not having to worry, or just holding it handheld and hold it whichever way I want. And I'm going to get an image that I can either put in landscape or in portrait. And so that is a huge benefit. DJI, you have to predetermine what aspect ratio you want. If you hold it in its traditional layout like this, then you're going to get landscape. If you turn it sideways, you're going to get portrait. And there's just really no way around that. Now it does have horizon balancing, which allows you to turn it kind of like the old GoPro, the 10, where you could go 45 degrees in both directions and it would keep your horizon level. But once you tipped past that 45-degree mark, it was going to change your image. And so if you took the camera and you went around in a circle, it would look like you're going around in a circle, where if you do the Go 2 or the Go 3 and you do that, no one would ever know that you're spinning the camera around because it locks that horizon. So how are they similar then? Both of them have the magnetic connections. Both of them are very small. Both have internal memory. Both are waterproof by themselves. Now, once you connect the Osmo Action 2 to a base unit, it's no longer waterproof, which is the same thing for the Go 2. You put it in the case, no longer waterproof. And the Go 3, you connect it to its case, no longer waterproof. So they are very, very similar. Now, again, getting back to differences, the DJI Osmo Action 2, because of the screens, not nearly as durable as this camera. I watched a video where, and I don't know who it was, but they took this camera and they strapped it to bottle rockets. They did everything to try and get this to stop working. And it was the Go 3. It was the newer camera, but they couldn't do it. Now it got scratched, it got dinged, but the one nice thing about this camera is the lens cover, just unscrew it, replace it. And so if you scratch that, it's no big deal. On this one, you scratch it, you have to take the whole unit in and have it replaced. So what I've done is I've put those scratch guards over the top of the lens and on the back so that I can try to protect it as much as possible. And I've also put an Alonzi cage on it to keep it from getting scratched. So there are some things that you're going to have to take into account when using the Osmo Action 2. One thing I do like about the Go 2 is it has ND filters that are very easy to just screw on and off. I've looked at ND filters for the Action 2 and they're magnetic, but once you put a cage on it like this, they don't fit. And so the only way I'd be able to use it is without the cage, and then it's very vulnerable to drops and scratches and things. So I just have to be very aware of my ISO and my exposure when I'm using the Action 2, because like any small sensor camera, you're going to be very susceptible to light and your image will get overblown very easily. Okay, so let's wrap this up. I think it really comes down to, I want to say just one thing, and that's how you interpret these two cameras. Now, I wrote down a bunch of notes, okay? I wrote these notes down, and they include things like frame rates and resolutions and all those things. And at the end of the day, that stuff doesn't matter in the grand scheme of how you view the cameras. Now, I look at the Go 2 and the Go 3, the Go 3 being the one we're comparing to the DJI Osmo Action 2. I view that as a novelty camera. And the reason why I say that is because it doesn't have the frame rates that the Osmo Action 2 does. It doesn't have the resolution. It's got a form factor that allows it to be used in a more creative way. And so I look at that as a novelty. Now, if you compare the Go 3, because of its new form factor, to let's say a GoPro, well, the GoPro is a drastically different camera. And so when I say one is a novelty, the other one is a camera system. The DJI Osmo Action 2 is a camera system that has 4K resolution. You can do videos like this. You can connect an external audio to it. It's got the front-facing screen. It can come apart. It does so many things, and it does them all very well. Where with the Go 3, you're really limited by the resolution, and you're limited by the form factor and the fact that it's a novelty. So, at the end of the day, after we've talked about all this stuff, if you've already got a camera system and you're looking for something to get those unique images or unique perspectives, then yes, maybe the Go 2 or Go 3 are something you need to add to your toolbox. But if you don't have a camera system and you're looking to get into this content creation, if you're looking to do action videos and you want really good audio and you want really good resolution, you need to start with the Action 2 because that's going to grow. And then once you figure out what it is, once you hone your craft a little bit, we talk about that on this show. Once you do that, then you can get something like the Go 2 or Go 3 to add to that system that you've got to get those unique images. So that's my 2 cents. Hey, look, I hope you find this somewhat beneficial. I've got loads of cameras and I use all of them, and I do have some, experience with them, and so I just hope to share that with you. So if this is the kind of content that you like, hey, do me a favor, become a subscriber. And if you like this particular episode, give me a thumbs up and make sure that you add a comment below so we can create that dialogue. Let me know if you liked it, didn't like it, your thoughts on these 2 cameras. Do you have one of these cameras? Do you have both? Have you thought about getting one? Let me know where you're at, because again, this platform is about finding low-cost alternatives, and so I want us all to work together, to collaborate, and to find those solutions. So hey, this is Mike. This is Low Def Media. Thank you so much for taking the time. We'll see you in the next one.